In this episode, we're talking about the rising loonie.
So Grant, good topic today. This is something that we're hearing lots about, just given it's something that we use every day. We're talking about the Canadian dollar, and with everyone loves to vacation down south, so it's always nice to see when the dollar is moving up for those type of things. But first and foremost, wanted to chat a little bit with you about why we're seeing this dollar climb to where it's at today.
Yeah, it literally is something we all use every single day, right? So it's a topic of conversation. I have it pretty regularly with clients, especially now. It's been in the news. It's kind of nice to talk about the loonie rather than Canadian housing for once, too, actually. So, but yeah, there's a number of reasons why it's going up. From the Canadian side of things, the Canadian economy is looking pretty good. Growing at a pretty reasonable pace, around 2.5% per year, which is about 1% higher than it was last year. So things are moving at a pretty nice clip here. All things considered, the things in Canada are going pretty well. The economy's doing pretty well, and that's one of the major factors for it on our side. Plus, rising interest rates.
Yeah.
Anytime we see rising interest rates, typically that's going to lead to a higher dollar, or depending on the currency, obviously the interest rates are in, but for us, higher interest rates in Canada means a higher loonie. So, so that's playing a factor into it as well. And for those who don't know, really what it comes down to when it comes to currencies, it's just supply and demand. There's other factors that can play into it, but like supply and demand is the biggest thing. So when interest rates go up, that means people want more of them, or will want more of them because they can make more money off of it. So demand goes up, and therefore the value of it is going to go up. So that's really why on the Canadian side. The other flip side of it, though, is maybe it's not so much what we're doing here in Canada, but
I was going to say, what about Donald Trump?
Yeah.
Is he helping us out at all?
Well, Donnie's certainly helping out the increase in the loonie for sure. And in fact, probably a bigger factor, or one of the major factors affecting the loonie right now is the U.S. dollar actually sinking. It's depreciated against all other major currencies, basically. So that's played a pretty big role into it. With all the uncertainty in the States, actually their economy is doing pretty well, but with the uncertainty around what's going on, whether it be with North Korea or the fact that he can't get a tax plan done or any of his other plans done, frankly, that's causing uncertainty around the U.S. dollar more than anything. So that's playing a role in the Canadian dollar appreciating against the U.S. dollar as well. So
now, as I mentioned before, traveling down south a little cheaper, obviously a pro to the dollar rising, but there's always the pros and cons. Before we get into, we'll go to the pros there, like traveling down south. What are some of those pros for Canadians here today when we see the dollar appreciating?
Yeah, the pros are difficult because if you're a U.S. traveler, you go down south a lot, then it's definitely a pro. Things are a little bit cheaper when you cross the border now than they were, and even not that long ago. The dollar appreciated, the loonie appreciated about 7% in just over a couple months. So it's a pretty significant change in a short period of time. So it'll certainly help if you're going down there shopping, or if you're going just for vacationing, or if you're buying anything down there. And that's really the other aspect of it that can potentially be an economic factor, is if you're a Canadian company or you're involved in some business where you're buying from equipment from the U.S. or buying some other sort of goods from the U.S. or maybe even some inputs into your process from the U.S. That just got a little bit cheaper for you. So it might help you out on the business side if you're a buyer from US. It's just got a little bit cheaper, about 10% cheaper, give or take, right now. So those are the real pros, which can help out the economy overall. If we're buying, if you're using it this opportunity to upgrade your technology or to upgrade your equipment, then it can be a boost.
Now, the cons.
Yeah, I would say, the cons, being from an export economy like Canada, the cons are probably a little bit bigger, because there's no secret that policymakers in Canada have been trying to sell more. That's what we do here. We sell resources, we sell goods, we manufacture goods. So we're trying to sell, and if we're trying to sell to the U.S., in particular, our largest trading partner, it got a little bit more expensive for them to buy from us, which can be a negative. Well, it certainly is a negative if you're trying to sell and export. So it could be actually end up being a drag on the economy. And I know all the travelers down south that like to vacation there. You don't really want to hear this from me, but the fact of the matter is it could be a negative that the dollar is climbing so high, especially on a short notice. Like it really happened very quickly, and so that makes it more difficult for companies to adjust through hedging and things like that. So it could be that could be a major detractor. And ultimately, what's ironic is that if the dollar's rising and the loonie's rising because our economy's been so good, it could actually be a detractor from growth going forward, which will bring the loonie back down in line. So
I was going to say more so where maybe it should be. Where that is, I mean, that's up for debate, but
and historically, the loonies average around 81 cents US. They're actually slightly below average right now, so it could. I mean, if you get historical averages, it could still creep up a little bit, it's difficult to say where things go from here. But yeah, if the economy slows because of it, you'll definitely see less demand for that loonie, and we'll probably see it pull back a little bit.
Great.
So. Yeah, but that's basically it on the loonie and what's going on right now. I mean, you can go into a lot of different things on currency. There's a lot of different factors that can play into it, but those are the basics of what's going on today. So.
Perfect.
So, I think with that, let's close it off.
Yeah, for sure. Hopefully, it answers some questions.
But certainly, if other questions come up, you guys know where to find us. Email us at cgwfamilywealth@nbc.ca. Visit us at our site, cgwfamilywealth.com, and stay tuned for the next episode coming up in a couple weeks. Ready?
Aim.
Fire.